The air is thick, not with smoke, not with fog, but with breath, thousands of breaths, pressed together inside narrow streets where the sun struggles to reach the ground, a city awake before dawn, feet on stone, murmurs behind shutters, the faint sound of bells, distant, uncertain. Something is wrong. No one says it aloud. They never do. Inside Madrid, in the early 1600s, life does not announce its turning points. It simply tightens. A woman coughs behind a wall. A priest hesitates before touching a door handle. A child stops playing, sensing a silence even he cannot name. The city holds its breath, because it has learned that breath can betray you. Madrid is young. Barely a generation ago, it was little more than a court transplanted onto dry Castilian earth. Now, it is the heart of an empire that stretches across oceans, an empire so vast that maps struggle to contain it. Silver arrives from the New World. Gold passes through hands that will never see where it came from. Carriages rattle through streets never meant to carry the weight of power. On the surface, Madrid thrives. The royal court glitters behind guarded walls, velvet, lace, incense. Ceremony layered upon ceremony, each one meant to convince the world that order is eternal. But cities do not run on kings alone. They run on bakers waking in darkness, on water carriers hauling barrels through dust, on servants who sleep beneath stairs and rise before the bells. They run on bodies, and bodies are fragile things. The streets are narrow by design, twisting like veins around the old Moorish bones of the city. Houses lean inward, as if sharing secrets overhead. Waste flows where it can. Animals wander where they are not wanted. Madrid smells of bread in the morning, of sweat by midday, of refuse when the heat settles in, and always, always, of people. This is a city obsessed with appearance. Honor is everything. Reputation is survival. A clean cloak matters more than clean hands. A public smile matters more than private fear. Inside these walls, everyone is watching everyone else. And no one is truly looking at what's coming, because catastrophe, when it arrives, rarely looks like catastrophe at first. It arrives as a rumor, a delay, a closed door, a household that no longer opens its windows. Someone disappears from the tavern, another from the marketplace, a third from memory. Madrid has seen hardship before, poor harvests, inflation that turns silver into dust, wars fought far away for reasons few understand. The people have learned to endure, but endurance creates an illusion that tomorrow will resemble yesterday, that suffering has limits. In the 1600s, Madrid believes it is central to the world, chosen, protected by God, by crown, by destiny itself. After all, how could a city so important be allowed to fall? The bells keep ringing, the markets keep opening, the court keeps dancing, and beneath it all, something unseen moves closer, not marching, not shouting, drifting quietly. From house to house, Madrid doesn't notice, not yet. The first signs are easy to dismiss. A fever that lingers too long, a swelling that should have faded by morning. A body carried through the streets before sunrise, wrapped tight, unnamed. Madrid has words for these things: bad air, divine testing, seasonal weakness, anything except what it truly is. The city is crowded beyond its limits. When the court arrived decades earlier, Madrid swelled overnight. Palaces rose quickly, so did slums. People came chasing favor, bread, miracles. They slept 6 to a room, sometimes 10, sometimes more. In the poorer quarters, walls sweat in the summer heat. Water is shared. Beds are shared. Illness is shared most of all. At first, death feels random. An old man collapses near the Manzanares. A servant girl never wakes. A soldier coughs blood into his sleeve and laughs it off. Madrid has buried its dead for centuries. It knows the rituals well, but something has changed. Graves fill faster than prayers. Churchyards grow crowded. The bells ring so often that no one turns their head anymore. Familiar names vanish. Entire households fall silent. Doors are marked, sometimes with symbols, sometimes with fear alone. Inside, families wait. They wait for recovery. They wait for mercy. They wait for death. Doctors come rarely. When they do, they come dressed like omens. Faces hidden, hands gloved, breath masked behind cloth and superstition. They bleed the sick. They pray. They leave. No one is cured. The streets react slowly, then all at once. Markets thin, taverns close early. Processions grow longer, more desperate. The faithful crowd the churches, believing closeness will save them. They do not yet understand. That closeness is the danger. Madrid is a city of faith. When answers fail, belief grows louder. Relics are carried through the streets. Saints are invoked. Sins are confessed publicly, violently, tearfully. Some believe God is angry. Others believe the end has begun. The court watches from behind walls. Windows close. Audiences are cancelled. The empire that once felt untouchable now feels uncertain. News arrives from other cities. Seville, Valencia, whispers of entire districts erased. Still, Madrid tells itself it is different. It must be. This is the capital, the chosen city, the seat of divine monarchy. But disease does not care for titles. It moves through servants first, then merchants, then priests. Soon it knocks at noble doors. Carriages stop running, letters go unanswered, silk gowns hang untouched in darkened rooms. The illusion of control begins to crack, and in the silence between bell tolls, the people of Madrid begin to understand something terrifying. The rules they lived by, the order they trusted. It was always thinner than they believed. Just a breath wide, fear changes the shape of a city. Madrid does not collapse in flames or screams. It contracts. Streets once alive with voices grow cautious, footsteps soften, eyes lower. People learn to recognize sickness by instinct alone. A pause in someone's walk, a sheen of sweat beneath a hat, a cough held just a moment too long. Distance becomes a language. Neighbors stop greeting one another. Friends cross the street. Family bonds stretch, then break. The sick are no longer visited. They are remembered. Inside darkened homes, time loses meaning. Days blend into nights punctured by pain and prayer. Candles burn down to nothing. Water runs out. Those who can afford it flee. They leave behind shuttered houses and unpaid debts. They tell themselves they will return. Many never do. For those who remain, survival becomes moral quicksand. A mother must decide which child to carry to the convent gates. A husband listens from behind a door, knowing that opening it could mean death. A priest hesitates, weighing faith against fear. Compassion becomes dangerous. Madrid was built on hierarchy, on knowing one's place, on order enforced by crown and church. Now, that order dissolves, servants vanish, leaving nobles helpless, doctors refuse entry, officials stop enforcing laws they no longer believe in. The bells still ring, but they no longer command obedience. They simply announce loss. Mass graves begin to appear beyond the city's edges. Bodies are stacked without names, without ceremony. The earth is hurriedly turned, as if even the soil is afraid to linger. Children grow quiet, too quiet. They watch the adults for cues that never come. They learn, far too early, that the world is unstable, that safety is temporary. Faith, once a refuge, fractures into extremes. Some cling harder than ever, whipping their own backs in public squares, begging for forgiveness from a God they no longer understand. Others turn away entirely, convinced they have been abandoned. Rumors spread faster than disease. poisoned wells, foreign curses, divine punishment aimed at secret sins. Fear needs a shape, and Madrid is desperate to give it one. At night, the city feels hollow. Lanterns flicker where crowds once stood. Dogs wander streets lined with locked doors. The sound of coughing echoes, then stops. No one checks. In the royal quarters, silence reigns. Power retreats inward, protecting itself, shrinking. Decisions are delayed, messages go unanswered. The empire still exists on parchment, but here, in the streets, it is gone. Madrid, once loud with ambition, now whispers a single question into the dark. Who will still be here when this ends, when the dying finally slows, when the bells hesitate before ringing again? Madrid does not celebrate. There is no moment of relief, no clear dividing line between nightmare and morning. The city simply realizes that it has survived something it does not recognize anymore. The streets reopen cautiously, like wounds testing the air. Shutters lift a few inches. Markets return in fragments. Faces look older, even the young ones. Entire neighborhoods are altered beyond memory. Houses stand empty, their owners gone without witnesses. Names once spoken daily are never spoken again. Madrid counts its dead in absences. The economy stumbles forward, uneven and wounded. Silver still arrives from across the ocean, but fewer hands are left to spend it. Workshops lack apprentices, fields lack laborers. What was once abundance now feels thin, and yet life insists. Children are born into homes that still smell of sickness. Weddings take place beside fresh graves. The city relearns its own rhythms, slower now, more cautious. Something fundamental has shifted. Authority no longer feels absolute. The crown is still powerful, but no longer invincible. The church still speaks, but its words carry echoes of unanswered prayers. People listen differently. They trust less. They observe more. A quiet skepticism settles into the collective soul of Madrid. Not rebellion, but memory. The memory of doors left unopened, of help that never came, of rules that vanished when they were needed most. Charity changes shape. Hospitals expand. Convents take on new roles, not just of faith but of containment. Suffering becomes institutional. Art reflects the wound. Paintings grow darker. Faces more severe. Saints more human. And humans more fragile. The Spanish Golden Age continues, but it carries a shadow now. Glory feels heavy. Wealth feels temporary. Every procession, every festival, every royal display carries an unspoken awareness. This can all disappear again. Madrid rebuilds, but it does not forget. Its streets remember footsteps that never returned. Its walls remember prayers whispered too late. And beneath the noise of recovery, a silence remains, a silence that teaches the city a lesson it will pass forward without words. Civilization is not a guarantee, it is a balance, maintained breath by breath. Madrid moves forward, it always does. Stones are replaced, walls are repaired, new voices fill old spaces. Within a generation, the streets sound alive again. Laughter returns, commerce flows, the court resumes its rituals as if interruption were an illusion. History, after all, prefers continuity, but beneath the surface, something endures. The memory does not live in books or proclamations. It lives in habits, in the instinct to hesitate before opening a door, in the distance kept between strangers, in the quiet understanding that power retreats first and returns last. Madrid never speaks openly about what it learned. Civilizations rarely do. They build monuments instead. They commission paintings. They tell themselves stories of triumph and destiny. Yet every city carries a scar line invisible to visitors. In Madrid, it runs through the 17th century, a reminder etched into its soul during a time when breath itself became dangerous. The people who lived through it did not think they were witnessing history. They thought they were simply trying to survive tomorrow. And that is how the world truly changes, not in grand declarations, not in moments anyone recognizes as pivotal, but in silence, in fear, in adaptation. The modern world is born from these moments, from cities that learned how quickly order dissolves and how stubbornly life returns. Madrid stands today as proof, not of permanence, but of resilience shaped by loss, because the past is never gone. It waits quietly, beneath the streets we walk every day, watching. I'm Tim, watching the past so we can understand the present, and together we keep history reborn. I'll see you in the next era.